Welcome to Married to Portuguese. On each episode, my English-Irish husband, Bob, and I discuss and laugh about our life and adventures in the Portuguese culture.
Hello. Bom dia.
Bom dia.
Hello.
Hello.
How many times do we have to go through this?
Oh, it's not hello, it's bom dia. Okay.
It's not hola.
It's not hola. I didn't say hola.
It's
I
not
just said hello.
aloha.
Well, we're not in Hawaii, but if we were, hola. Oh, aloha.
Aloha. Anyway, bom dia. Today.
Yes, today.
Maria's Portuguese Table,
Yes.
Season 2, Episode 3, Fall River, Behind the Scenes.
Behind the scenes.
Now, disclaimer. I wasn't behind the scenes for Episodes 3 and 4. I had my day job.
Yes, he did. But all the other 6 episodes, you were with me.
Front and center.
Well, behind the scenes as well.
Behind and to the left.
Yeah.
That's
But he was there.
But so I will be commenting as a viewer.
As a viewer. Okay, well, how do you see Season 2, Episode 3? How do you see it?
I was jonesing really bad to be there. You had so much fun at Michael's Provisions.
I did. I really
Now,
did.
you get so many comments, people like, oh, you're laughing all the time. And Maria does laugh all the time. She loves to laugh, which is great.
I do.
It's infectious. And you were at a place, Michael's Provisions, where I think they like to laugh as well.
Oh, they're so much fun.
So you found humor.
Oh, those
in
guys.
linguistic entries.
Those guys were so hysterical. There were moments you have to understand, there's lots we film that when they're editing after, they must go, oh my God, there's just so much laughter all the time. And what's funny is that, because I come in with, hi, they're letting me in and I'm so thankful to be there, then I like to joke and kid around. So, and they like to joke and kid around. So it was a lot of fun. It was just a lot of fun.
So how hard was it to tie off that sausage?
That was work. I mean, you take it and you flip it around and you do. And I mean, I can't, that's why I bowed down to that guy. I'm like, you do it. This is like, it's a lot. I mean, I've done it, at home. I've done it when my parents have done it before. We've done it. We've done it. We've made chouriço at home before.
We did it at home. It required 4 hands to tie them.
And it wasn't like that at all. There was no machine. There was none of that stuff. We have the hand filler and I mean, whatever. So it's not like we haven't done this before. But this is on a massive scale. And they were just fantastic. And the other thing, I keep getting people talking or sending messages to me because some people have seen this already, even though it hasn't gone nationwide. It's been seen through PBS Rhode Island. They stream it. They live stream it. It's through the PBS app. So if you have the PBS app, which you can download for free, you can also watch it ahead of time before it goes nationwide. But for those that have seen it, they're like, oh, I can't wait till next week. What are you going to be doing? I can't wait to see what they're going to have you do for the next one, right? And what you don't know is that our producer, Dean, is the culprit in having me doing all kinds of things that I
mean, Dean is a craftsman at what he does.
Yes.
As a cinematographer.
Yes.
And storyteller.
Yes.
And he doesn't want to just shoot pretty pictures. He wants something to happen, right? There's got to be a story.
Right.
And so with all seriousness on his face, he will look at us and say, but what is the do? Like, and he's always skeptical.
Yeah,
like, what is the do?
What are you going to be doing? You're going to meet them? What are you going to do when you're there? And I'm like, it'll just come together, Dean. And this is how it was for the first season and how it was for the second season. It's almost like, I've never met these people before in my life, with the exception of, for Fall River, of course, I know the Portuguese Kids. I know Derek and Brian. So that part is, I was just with friends there. But typically, that's not the case. It is, I'm meeting them for the very first time on camera. And it's like, we just go with the flow, whatever feels like is where it's leading. And what's funny is when I'm like talking to someone here and there, what I don't know most of the time is that Dean is in the back, pulling someone else going, hey, can you have her do XYZ? And then all of a sudden I have to do this thing. And there are some times where I'm like, I am not doing that. I am not doing that. I remind him that I'm old enough to be his mother. I remind him that, I'm not this, this, that, or whatever the case may be. And then sometimes I end up doing it anyway. That's how he gets me. He just keeps going at it. Come on, Maria. Come on.
He has you doing some really good activities.
Oh,
coming up. With no spoilers, but there's some really good activities coming.
Oh, boy.
It was great. And I would say another thing that really impressed me, first off, the quantity of sauces that they're making at any one time.
Oh.
And like the way they smoke them in the big cabinets and how fast they do the smoking.
Oh, yeah.
That was really fun, and how clean it was.
Pristine.
Wow.
Pristine. In every area that we'd walk. And after we'd walk into a certain room, even though our shoes were, they weren't dirty, they would come in right after and clean that room. So the floors, the walls, everything was like spick and span, which I love that. I love that when in going into a kitchen, even when we film like we did like in down in Provincetown where we cooked at the Mayflower, you could eat off that floor. It was like so clean. That kitchen was spotless.
Yep. And
the same thing was at the bakery when we were there. Also, the Portuguese bakery, same thing. I mean, I have issues with going in and seeing anything like that. Number one, I don't want to get anyone in trouble. Number two, I don't want to eat there. So there's that. And so it was spotless, and it was family owned. I love that. They were just the sweetest people, and plus the sausages are fantastic. So you really can't go wrong. And so after we've filmed at Michael's, family is beautiful. The whole thing was wonderful. Then we went to Sagre's restaurant.
Love Sagre.
Love that restaurant. Talk about spick and span and how beautiful that is. And there's a lot of history with that restaurant. And we didn't have, because I only have 30 minutes. That's the thing. It's less than 30 minutes. It's actually 26 point something. And I try to get as much as I can. So I can't show everything and I can't say everything I want to say. But this restaurant, at one point burned down to the ground, and they rebuilt it. And the food is incredible. The service is incredible. And I knew when we were filming in Fall River that is one of the oldest Portuguese restaurants in Fall River. And that we had to film there. And once again, Victor and his brother, Manuel, if I'm not mistaken, they were just out of this world. But for them, again, it was me coming there and having them in the kitchen decide what I'm going to be served. So that was a different take. Usually I'm in the kitchen with them cooking, but this time it was different.
Their food is so good.
The food is so good.
I wasn't filming there, but we went afterwards.
Yes.
And basically ordered the same meal.
Yes. I loved it that much. I'm like, Bob, we're going, and this is what we're going to have.
I need to go back for that, I think.
Yes. Because we came back and Victor sees me and I'm like, he missed this last time, so I've got to bring him with me and we've got to have the same thing. And we did. We ordered the same thing and it was so good.
That was so good. And so from there, you went to film with the kids.
I went to their place of business first, their office, which I hadn't been to the new spot yet because they moved. And so I get into whole kinds of different shenanigans with them there.
They just make me laugh.
They're funny. They're just.
I can't believe you stole that cheese.
I didn't steal the cheese.
You know, when I tasted it, it tasted funny.
I do not. I actually had a few people send me messages going, "Did you really steal the cheese?" No, I did not.
It had an
steal.
aftertaste of guilt.
I did not. I did not steal the cheese. At the end, they gave me the cheese. They gave it to me. I did not steal it. But of course, you know, the thing of editing, it makes it look like I did. But it
was the editing.
It was the editing. But it was funny because I was like, you've got 30-month-old cheese from Sagre. And it's like, those are hard to get. Those are hard to get. And they had it. And it really was when they opened that refrigerator, I really did go, because that's how beautiful it looked. It was like a refrigerator filled with cheese. Oh my God, it was beautiful. And then after to cook with their moms, that was so special.
That was a sweet segment.
That was so special. So special. And to hear their story and how, you know, it's the epitome of a Portuguese story. And that is, you know, family takes care of its own. They take care of each other and support each other, and they're there for them. You know, these are grown men who are married, who have children, and are successful in what they do, but they had their family.
They work very hard.
They work very hard.
And
it's not
sacrifice because they're on the road.
Yes,
they are on the road away from their families.
Yes.
But they're hardworking, but so talented. They just make me laugh.
Yeah, they are. They're wonderful people. So you get to see a different side of them.
I'm laughing now. Derek handing you the cheese and saying, "This is for you." He's $29.99. It's just the delivery was great.
And I was in there, and of course there was a whole bunch of stuff that stayed in it where I thought, oh, they're not going to keep this part, you know. And so in teasing around with them, and Brian's going, oh, we're going to have you do gymnastics here. We're going to have you do there. And of course, I'm teasing around with him because that's just, you know, it's just a normal thing. But it made it in. There was a whole bunch of stuff that I never thought was going to make it into the final cut that it did. So,
but then the conversation you had with their mothers about their experience, you know, raising their sons.
Yeah.
Family recipe from Santa Maria.
Oh, I loved that. I mean, I've never...
You haven't made that for me yet.
No, I haven't. Sorry. I haven't.
Not fair.
Not fair, but I will. I'll eventually do that. But I had never had a specialty of Santa Maria, and I've heard from people that have seen the program, and especially there were some that said, I've Santa Maria and I haven't had this, but then again, I'll have to ask my mom or my grandmother kind of thing if they know about this recipe. And then I had others going, oh, I remember my grandmother making that. And then there was a very sweet message from a lady from Santa Maria who said she watched it with her father, and they were from Santa Maria, obviously, and they were both taken aback by the recipe because that is a recipe that they grew up with. And it was so special for them to see it on TV, to actually be like, that's our food from Santa Maria. So it was, so it's really very special for me, very special. And it was delicious. It was really, really, really good.
I think it's a good, I mean, the community's so big. I mean, we could probably get half a season out of Fall River.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's so many places to go to. And, you know, in future seasons, we could go back and tell more of the story.
Right. And that's it. We have a very limited time. So we can't do everything we want to do.
Right. But, you know, I think it's fun. I mean, we've got the food and people and culture and all that. And you showed the gates to
Yes.
Lagata.
That's right, because it's the 10th island. They consider the 10th island.
Yeah, and what did I read? That there's more money coming into the waterfront because the train station's coming relatively nearby.
Yeah.
And those arches are going to end up being more front and center. And
I
seen by more
love
people.
that.
It's such a pretty area right on the Taunton River.
Yeah.
So
It really is. It really is.
nice.
And what I love also about it is, I grew up in New Bedford, and Fall River is not that far away. So I had a lot of friends in Fall River. I still do. We go to Fall River a lot. I mean, that's just, and when you leave the area, people will go, oh, yeah, Fall River, whatever. Or even people who are from Fall River go, oh, yeah, I'm from Fall River. No, you're from Fall River. It's a beautiful city. You've got to love where you live. And there are such beautiful, amazing things and happening in Fall River. It's, there's good and bad everywhere. I don't care what it is. Mm-hmm. But I don't like people to just think about the bad.
No. And it's tough for cities like New Bedford and Fall River and Lowell and Brockton. They've textile cities, and the textile mills closed, and nothing came otherwise to take the place for those well-paying jobs. And the better-paying jobs all stayed up in the Boston area.
Yeah.
So the outer cities have always struggled and lagged behind what Boston gets. I mean, look, it's been 60 years since we've had a train coming to this part of the state. 60 years.
That's a long time.
There's a train that goes from Boston to Providence, but not Boston to many of governors are fixing that, and that has changed.
It's all good.
So
it's all
excited about that.
Yes.
So the towns have struggled, and it hasn't been easy to regrow. But New Bedford's got a great rebirth downtown, and Fall River's doing great as well with the train station. So
it's beautiful.
Visit Fall River.
Yes.
Visit New Bedford.
Yes, visit Fall River. Visit New Bedford.
We should do that now. I want to go to Sagre.
Okay, we're gonna go.
All right.
We're going.
Thanks, folks. Next up, episode 4, New Bedford.
Yeah. I think we're going to sit right here and we're going to go right to it.
I think so.
All right, guys.
Bye now.
See you soon.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and we'd love to hear your ideas for topics. Ciao.